the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, December 31st. So today we will see the moon in Leo go void, of course, at 12:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are going to watch the moon shift into Virgo energy at 6:58 a.m. again, Eastern Standard Time. So anytime we're moving out of Leo energy to Virgo energy, sometimes it feels a little bit bumpy, a little bit rough, like we hit a brick wall, so to speak. A lot of that is because, again, fire energy coming from Leo, we're kind of bouncing all over the place. Yes, we were getting heart-centered, heart-aligned, really bringing forth real, raw vulnerability on what it is that we want to pursue, what it is that we want to express, what it is that we want to create. The Virgo energy being a mutable earth sign, first of all, it's a lot about mind over matter. So really diving into the visual of these ideas, of these goals, of this vision, of this dream, really piecing together what that's actually going to look like. And in Virgo energy, what we focus on in our mental plane is what we actually manifest. The Virgo energy is the problem solver of the zodiac. We are looking to heal our mental plane, our physical body. We're looking to focus in on the smaller details of the issues that we're currently dealing with, of the plans in which we currently have. We're looking to be a little bit more meticulous and crossing off the T's, dotting the I's, making sure everything is in order as we kind of prepare and plan to progress in this new direction on this new path. So I think it's also interesting that we're kind of locking into the Virgo energy as we kind of, bridge the cusp between 2023 ending and 2024 beginning. Of course, we're in Capricorn season, an earth sign, the moon being in an earth sign. We're definitely grounded, we're logical, we're practical, we're present in the moment in our physical bodies and taking a very good look at what needs to be reorganized and restructured in our physical realm. So there are 8 different aspects here today. All 8 of them are going to involve the moon, which means that we are having a moon day, again, getting emotionally in alignment with our thoughts, with our, let's call it ideas. And again, really percolating on what needs to be built, what needs to be fine-tuned, what needs to be reorganized, redesigned, restructured in our lives in order for us to actually take action, make moves, and progress ourselves forward on a brand new path. I think it is also notable just to kind of say that we're still trying to acclimatize to the shift that Jupiter just did. Jupiter just went direct after being retrograde since the beginning of September. And of course, Jupiter going direct followed Venus entering into Sagittarius energy, which is something very special considering the fact that Jupiter rules over the Sagittarius energy. So we have Mercury wrapping up his last day of being retrograde and again preparing to go direct at 22 degrees 11 minutes of Sagittarius energy. So we are entering into the new year with as much positivity, as much confidence, with as great big picture vision as we could possibly get. But we do have to expect that there is a little bit of pressure on the mental plane as we are kind of preparing to go direct. And because of the fluctuation in energy due to Jupiter and Venus being on the move in the last couple of days, we are still needing to find that grounded, anchored point where we're feeling balanced, where we're feeling a little bit more stable. We have a couple of days to go before we're going to feel that anchored, that present, that sure about where it is that we're currently standing. But nonetheless, having the sun in Capricorn shining a bright light on our long-term goals, and then the moon now in Virgo energy focusing in on the smaller details that need to happen and need to align before those long-term visions, those long-term goals can actually be manifested. We are definitely in a very interesting perspective, heart space, and dynamic, energetically speaking, as we move into the new year. So with that being said, the moon, while still in Leo energy, is going to trine beautiful interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, in this Sagittarius energy. So this is some fire on fire action, and we love this for us because it's helping, first of all, to boost our self-esteem, boost our confidence, boost our positive mood and attitude. But even more than that, really getting us fine-tuned with what it is that's motivating us, what it is that's inspiring us, what it is that's really kind of getting the fire, the spark, the flames lit within us in order for us to be hell-bent, damn well and determined to see something through, to initiate a new path, to really go after these big ideas, these big dreams, these big goals, these big visions that we're currently percolating on. Again, this is the last aspect that the moon in Leo is going to make before going void, of course. We have one aspect taking place while the moon is void in this Leo energy, and it happens to be a kind of not so nice interaction with Pluto. Pluto, of course, the great transformer, at the very ending degrees of Capricorn energy. This is why the last thing that we see going on when the moon is moving out of one sign and into the other is an interaction with Pluto. Now, depending on the sign that the moon is in at the time, kind of denotes whether or not it's going to be a positive or not so nice interaction. But again, the not so nice interactions, they create tension and conflict in order for us to see what is actually important, what area of our life needs the most attention, and where there is the greatest need for change. And so emotionally speaking, because the moon in this Leo energy, again, void of course, is very shaky, very unstable at this particular point in time, we're interacting with Pluto, the great transformer, who's kind of showing us where it is that we need to kind of boss up in our emotional plane. We need to be bold. We need to be brave. We need to be courageous. We can't be whiny. We can't be victimhood mentality. We can't be timid. In this particular chapter of our lives, we really have to build ourselves up to this warrior type of mood and attitude as we enter into a new year and tackle some very, very tough aspects that need change, that need transformation. So we'll be locking into the Virgo energy, 6:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. About an hour later, we have the moon in Virgo interacting with Chiron. Chiron's the wounded healer. And Chiron is now direct in Aries energy. Now, this is going to illuminate for us where it is that we're not feeling so hot, or we're not feeling so well equipped, well prepared, where we're not feeling that warrior type of spirit, where we're actually sitting in fears, doubts, and insecurities. Again, when we aspect Chiron in a not so nice aspect, we bring up the wounds. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing because the moon in Virgo wants to heal, wants to solve these problems, wants to resolve these issues, but we have to feel in order to heal. And so it is a very necessary point in time in which we have to become illuminated to where it is that fears, doubts, and insecurities are kind of paralyzing at this particular point in time, so that we can address these concerns and we can come up with a path, a plan, a strategy on how it is that we're going to override them. The moon is then going to get into the boxing ring, square off with Venus. So Venus is the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's in Sagittarius energy now. The fire energy of Sagittarius has her kind of bouncing around, has her kind of unsure, if you will, on what it is that she wants, needs, and desires, especially when it comes to relationship dynamics. There's a lot more freedom and independence that we want for ourselves in this Sag energy. We want to experiment. We have different values, different priorities. We have different goals that we would like to reach, not only in our relationship dynamics, but financially as well. And again, getting into the boxing ring, squaring off, creating tension and conflict is going to illuminate for us where it is that we're not feeling so happy, where there isn't as much joy and pleasure as we would prefer there to be, where it is that we're not feeling safe, secure, or stable. Again, with the moon in Virgo, essentially coming into this lunar phase, we have to identify the problems if we stand a chance in hell in order to fix them. And so this is why we're being illuminated to where it is that we're not feeling the greatest, not feeling safe and secure and stable, so that we can get down to the nitty gritty and really address where in our mental plane, where in our emotional space, these particular issues are popping up for us and what it is that we can do to fix them and resolve them. The moon in Virgo is going to directly oppose and sit across from Saturn. So Saturn is the lord of karma. He rules over roles and responsibilities, systems, structures, We see a lot of discipline needed under this Saturn influence, and especially seeing as Saturn is in Pisces energy, this has been about restructuring our belief systems, digging deep, having the willpower, having the discipline to kind of shift our belief system and to follow through in building a new structure, a new foundation of how it is that we're going to operate moving forward, how it is that we're going to build the bridge to get away from where it is that we're at and closer to where it is that we desire to be. But this opposition, of course, is not going to feel well. Oppositions never do. This is going to highlight where it is that we are super, super frustrated by the little tiny things that go wrong in the run of the day, or where it is that we're feeling overwhelmed with roles and responsibilities that we have outgrown or that we no longer want to be attached to. Either way, there's a high probability of being super irritated. Again, that comes from that Virgo energy. The littlest things can set us off. It's almost like it's the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And because we carry a lot of weight where the roles and responsibilities, the obligations and commitments that we've made in our lives definitely gets highlighted with Saturn's interaction, we're just feeling the pressure, if you will. We're feeling irritated that we keep getting distracted away from our interest or tasks at hand. And we're really just kind of being agitated, triggered, and activated left, right, and center. Now, once we get past this particular energy, and again, this is at 1:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there is a lot more positive energy later in the day than there is in the earlier parts of the day. And after we get over this little irritability, frustrated little jam in midday, we can actually be super productive because we're starting to see what actually is important, what actually needs to be done, what actually craves our attention. And then we can kind of hone in on those things. 4 hours later, we have the moon in Virgo making a very positive interaction with Pluto, the great transformer. So oftentimes you'll hear me say how I love when the moon is in Virgo and these positive interactions, even sometimes negative interactions with Pluto. Reason being, Virgo energy does a deep dive in our mental plane, in our egoic intellect. And the Pluto energy does a deep dive in our psyche, where the conditioning and the programming of our egoic programming actually lives in our psyche. That's that shadow part that we need to do a deep dive in to see where it is that some of the narratives, some of the perspectives, some of the understandings that we're currently aligned with, where they're actually blocking us from healing, from growth, from progression, from doing all of the things that we feel a current state of paralysis in actually doing. So emotionally speaking, we are starting to see where the problems are, and we're starting to kind of override them with a new narrative. There is a major shift, a major change, a major transformation in the way that we're feeling and the way that we're thinking, in examining the parts of us that are currently not in alignment, currently blocking us from going after what these new dreams, these new visions, these new goals want us to pursue. The moon is then going to trine Jupiter. So Jupiter's the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He just went direct. We're still kind of adjusting to this particular energy. But the moon interacting with Jupiter, this is some earth on earth action because Virgo energy is earth, Taurus energy is earth. The trine means that there is a gentle nudge in the right direction. We're growing, we're improving, we're coming up with a little bit of a path, a little bit of a plan. What I love about this is that anytime that we're interacting with Jupiter in a positive interaction, it means that we're getting downloaded with a new sense of confidence, a new sense of optimism. We are seeing the greater, grander picture. We are plucking out the silver linings. We're kind of giving ourselves the best type of pep talk that you could possibly have. But it's not foo-foo. It's not over-exaggerated. It's realistic. It's logical. It's practical. And we have that earth energy to thank for that. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Virgo making an awkward interaction with the north node in Aries energy. So that north node in Aries energy is our soul path. It's the path that we need to get on to reach our soul's next mission, our soul's potential, so to speak. But this is not the greatest interaction. It's not super negative, but it's kind of like putting us in a situation to think about moving forward, the path, the plan, the strategy, the first baby step that we could actually initialize. Now, I don't know about y'all, but this is a confusing energy that we're currently sitting in. And again, we won't receive the kind of clarity that we're looking for until about the end of the second week of January. However, sitting in this particular situation and thinking about the different options that we have, the different variables that we could explore, the different paths, directions, goals that we actually have on our plate to pursue, we have to figure out which one is actually bringing us the most passion, the most joy, sparking the most fire within us. So although this isn't a favorable aspect, it is putting us in a good situation to kind of think very carefully about the different options and opportunities available to us, and then feel how our physical body is reacting to the visuals that we are currently trying to kind of tap into in our mental plane.